You are in the right place because I brought on my dear friend, Trisha, my colleague, my inspiration. Trisha has this amazing Quit Sugar Challenge, and I'm going to share a little bit of my personal journey with quitting sugar. And I just wanted to bring her on because I know that for a lot of us, especially women, that this is the thing that keeps us doubting ourselves. We don't feel confident about ourselves. We don't feel confident about our bodies. And the end result of that is that we don't put ourselves out there. And you know, I'm all about visibility and putting yourself out there. And what we need to do, some of us, we need to start with quitting sugar. So Trisha, it's so great to have you. You're just the living embodiment of your work. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thanks for having me. This is so much fun.
Yeah. Now, a lot of my women are business owners, so we're streaming to multiple platforms. LinkedIn is one of them. And Trisha, I'm wondering how you see this. I'm going to think it's an obsession with sugar, right? How you see this showing up for the women that come to you. Like, what's the cost of them being obsessed with sugar?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll talk about my own experience because I was a total sugar addict and I was 50 pounds overweight as a result of it. You know, I couldn't say no to anything ooey gooey or chewy.
Ooey gooey or chewy. I love that.
Like, ooh, I'll have some of that. So, yeah. So, I mean, it sucks to carry around excess weight. It just totally sucks. And you know, people, I hear it all the time from women in, you know, business, you know, I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident. I don't feel confident going for the next job or the next promotion. You know, I'm carrying excess weight. You know, why would they hire me? Why would they promote me? It makes people not want to shine in their light. I mean, they take their video off of Zoom, you know, and their clothes don't fit or they're embarrassed about how they fit. Oh my gosh, on so many levels, just self-esteem. You know, when we have sugar binges or food binges, we carry so much shame because it's like we have this double life. We're on the one hand, we're confident and capable and, you know, doing great things in the world, leading people, you know, organizations. But then we have this little secret, which is at the end of the day, we're hanging out in front of the TV, stuffing our faces because we're stressed out. We don't have enough self-care in our day, and we're working too much, you know, trying to keep it all together. And so we live this double life and we feel embarrassed and ashamed of our habits. It's not congruent with who we put ourselves out to be, you know, and so that shame eats away at our self-esteem. And it makes us feel less than and like we have a secret to hide. And that just energetically, that just emanates, you know, from us. We are not saying, here I am, I'm amazing, I'm fabulous, because we're like, I sort of am, but I have this little secret, you know, and it totally holds us back.
That is so interesting that you're saying that. We are going to get to the 3 secrets to end your sugar craving. But I first want to just go a little deeper into what you just said, Trisha. So I think as women in particular, and I'm guessing that most of your clients are women, is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We work really hard to put it together, to look good in the world, to get accomplished. And then if you're going home and, you know, sitting and binging out on sugar, then there's 2 things that come to me right away that's happening. One is you never feel really good about your accomplishments because behind the scenes, you're taking yourself down. And 2 is that you put yourself out there and you work really hard to feel good, but then you're doing the exact opposite and really sabotaging it. And so I'm guessing that there's a lot of us out there that sabotage feeling good about our success in the world by binging on sugar.
Yeah. And sugar, I mean, has so many negative effects. I mean, it affects our energy. It gives us inflammation. I mean, anytime I would binge on sugar, my face would get really round. Like it would show up in puffiness in my face. And It affects your libido. You don't want to, you don't, when you don't feel good about your body, you don't want to have sex, you don't want to be seen, but it just saps your energy. It causes depression. It causes anxiety. So many pre-diabetes, that's a major problem right now for people's diabetes. So many levels it affects our, life and our, like you said, how we feel about ourselves. And it's like, what are we here for? Like, what are we doing? If we're here to improve our lives and have amazing lives, but then we're sabotaging ourselves and we don't feel good. We can't enjoy the fruits of our work and all our efforts. That is not living. That's not living.
Well, and I imagine that because of COVID, you must have a roster full of clients that have gained the COVID-19 and that you also probably have a lot of people, women in particular, that are really lonely. And most of the women that I know are connecting through dating apps. And certainly if you're binging on sugar and you're not fitting your clothes, like you said, the last thing in the world you're going to want to do is put yourself out there on a dating app and be like, here I am. You're just not going to have confidence in that area. So there's a lot of residual costs to being addicted to sugar. I think that inflammation is a big one. The lack of clarity, the lack of motivation, the lack of libido. Hello. And that can show up in every area of your life. But just give me one of these secrets to ending sugar cravings.
Well, all three start with D, just to make it kind of cute and easy to remember. So the first one is detect. Okay, so we have to detect where sugar is in our food. I think one of the most frustrating things is that if you are trying to eat clean, trying to get on a better track, lose weight, go to the gym, you're doing all the right things. But little do you know, sugar is hiding in your healthy foods, like foods you buy at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. It's like, wait a minute, here I am trying so hard, doing so good, but I crave sugar still, and turns out it's because the manufacturers are sneaking it into our foods. There's over 80 names for sugar. But sugar by any other name is still sugar, and it's still wreaking havoc on our bodies and creating sugar cravings. So we have to detect where those foods are hiding in our, where those ingredients are hiding in our foods so that we can make better choices. So the first thing, is to really detect where these hidden sugars are. I mean, some products literally at Whole Foods will have 3 different sugars added to the food, but it's all different names, so you don't know. It's very sneaky. So we have to learn how to detect where the hidden sugars are, what the names are for sugar. And also something that people don't think about is that carbs, like processed carbs, chips, bread, all those things that we love, pastries, donuts, of course, but literally just bread at the table, that metabolizes very quickly as sugar in your body. And so you're still getting cravings on account of eating sugar, even though you're like, no, it's not sugar, it's bread. But it is sugar to your body. Your body's like, oop, we're getting a little hooked here. And the thing about getting hooked is that, sugar is highly addictive. I mean, I think a lot of people blame themselves that they can't stop eating it. But I think it's important for people to know that what sugar does when we eat it is it lights up the reward center in our brain. Okay, which is what heroin does. That's what cocaine does. Okay, so it lights up the reward center in your brain, which means that it makes you feel really good, and then you want some more, and then you have to do it some more. That's where the craving comes from. It's literally physical. You're getting physically hooked on sugar, and you also have other classic signs of addiction, which means that if you stop eating it, you feel crappy. Okay, like you have a headache, you sweat, like if you're trying to cut it out and you're not doing it properly, you might have withdrawal symptoms. And that's a problem because it makes you just want to go back to it. It's like, I feel so crappy, I'm going to go eat some more and feel better, back to how I was feeling. And the other thing is that when it's addictive and any substance that is addictive, when you eat it and it lights up the reward center in your brain, what happens is you build a tolerance, and then you have to have more in order to get that same hit. okay, this is how we get sucked in. This is how we get addicted to sugar. It's such a, seems so innocuous. It's so pretty. It's in this nice packaging and sprinkles and, oh, this lovely frosting. But it's like, it is heroin to many of us, it is addictive. And then we end up really feeling crappy and it's not so pretty. So that's the first step.
Can I say something about that? I'm dying to share my experience. So ever since I was a kid, I've had cat allergies, and I love cats. I love all animals. My husband can tell you there's like cats in the neighborhood, and I'm like, come here, kitty. And when I pet them, I have an extreme reaction. My eyes swell up, my nose starts to run, my throat closes up. I've had to go to the emergency room on several accounts, and yet when there's a cat around, I still have this insatiable desire to pet it and to interact with it, even though I know the consequences. To me, sugar was the same. Once I pet the cat, once I take a bite of whatever it is, even if I don't know there's sugar in it, especially if I don't, I literally have this physical reaction that I am not in control of. So I want you to hear that this is not about willpower. It's not your fault. It's not my fault that I'm allergic to cats. It's not my fault that I was addicted to sugar. But what it does is it's like, I have to have the discipline to not pick it up. And in order to do that, we need a lot of support. Like I need my husband saying, don't pet the cat, leave it alone, And I mean, that's why I imagine people hire you. But the detecting is a big deal, especially now that there's all these healthy vegan treats and stuff like that. And really what they are is probably one of these 80 forms of sugar. So detecting, and Trisha, here's what happens for me. Because I've been off refined sugar for 33 years, if there's sugar in a sauce, a dressing, something, what happens is I get the craving the next day. Like I wake up and I'm starving, and it doesn't matter what I eat, my body is craving the sugar. So I want you to hear, people, that this whole addiction and the craving is real. And once it's in your body is screaming, I need more. And I always get really curious, like, God, what did I eat that has me feeling starving, hungover, headachy, and let me avoid that like the plague. And it's not about discipline, because people are like, you have so much willpower to not eat sugar. And I'm like, no, I'm just really clear what it costs me when I do eat it and how horrible I feel. And I will do everything I can to avoid losing a day of my life to sugar craving.
Amen to that. No question about it. And that brings me to my next secret, which is detox. So we have to detect, but then we have to detox. So what's really important to know is it doesn't take long to get sugar out of your system. My experience is 4 or 5 days, and lots of water and a few good supplements, and you're there. Like you're doing so much better, feeling better, more energy, inflammation's going down. And so detoxing is really important. Now, a lot of people want to just eat less sugar, but the problem with that and why we need to kind of clear it out of our system is that no. Well, because if you have problems with sugar, it's going to be really hard to do the M word, which is moderation. So many well-meaning people say, oh, just eat less or eat one cookie. Well, one cookie is not enough for me. I'm sorry, but once I start, I want more. I crave it. And so really important that we just get it out of our system altogether. Go through the detox symptoms. You may have a headache. You may have some tiredness, but then you just 4 or 5 days and you're feeling so much better. You can even lose 3 or 4 pounds, just in 4 or 5 days, of that inflammation and that bloat. And so that's really important, but you have to know how to do it safely, where you don't you're not out of work for 4 days. Really important.
Well, and for me, the support I would need around detox is that when I go out for Thai food, and which I don't anymore, there's sugar in the sauce. The next day I'm really emotional when I'm detoxing. Like I'm just, it's like a really bad case of PMS. And And that's the thing that wants me, that then I want to medicate that. Right. And so I think that this is a
So
process
true.
that we need a lot of support. And also because there's a cultural consciousness around, oh, well, you can just have one cookie. But if you're
Yes.
like me,
Hello.
one pet of a cat is the same as living with a cat. I'm in an instant reaction that I can't control. And so I found that it was exhausting to try to control it and have a little bit of it. And it just, listen, it took up a lot of my life force energy, my bandwidth, and I couldn't focus on anything. I couldn't focus on business. I couldn't focus on a relationship. I couldn't focus on showing up and being there for friends and family and clients because I was so obsessed with where
Yeah.
am I going to get it next? Then I was obsessed with my body. I was very, very, very distracted by sugar, just very
Yeah.
distracted. And it's culturally norm. People are like, oh, well, you can just have one. Those people have not investigated or detected the price that they're paying to go on and off sugar. It's
Oh
exhausting.
yeah. No, it is. It's a roller coaster ride, and the emotional roller coaster ride as well. The problem with sugar is you feel great for a little bit, and then you have a major crash, and it can really make you emotionally unstable. You just
Right?
like you're, you know,
Especially if you have a propensity for emotional instability.
it's just it's too much of a roller coaster ride. You can literally even out and just feel good perpetually, when you're not doing the whole sugar roller coaster ride. So that's really, really important. I'm so glad you brought that up about the community too, because I teach people how to quit sugar, but I do it in community because there's too much temptation out there. There's too much temptation. Too many people don't understand why we're doing what we're doing. We got to stick with our kind, people who are tired. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. They want to quit sugar. They want to support each other. And it just, it makes it so much easier, and the last secret that I want to share is the last D is delish. Okay. And, and what's so important about this is that you don't want to just quit sugar and be all sad face. Like you want to still enjoy your food, right? Because we all know, when we diet or whatever, we feel deprived and sad, and we're
Ugh.
looking longingly at everybody else who's eating the yummy foods we want to eat. No, 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 no. You can actually enjoy your food, enjoy sweet things. I still have a sweet tooth. I don't eat sugar, but I have a sweet tooth and I like sweet things, and so I basically think it's imperative that you have substitute recipes and things, substitute ingredients that can give you sweetness without getting you hooked, without any adverse side effects. So you can enjoy your food, and not feel deprived and not feel like you're the only one not eating cake. No, you've got your goodies. You've got things you eat that feel like you're satisfying your sweet tooth without having it hook you and drive you crazy with cravings. So that's really, really important.
I love that you said that because if I were someone from the outside that didn't know you as well as I know you, I'd look at you and think, oh, she has it all together. And I know that you have some great photos and some great stories that you're going to be sharing in your upcoming, you have a quit sugar challenge. And,
Yes.
or I would say, end the challenge by quitting sugar.
Yes,
I would rearrange
exactly.
it. But I know you
Yeah,
have
we
some
just
great
we challenge
pictures.
you to quit sugar. Yep.
Yeah. I know you have some great pictures of your before and some great stories because I've heard you speak on multiple stages and
Yeah.
really talk about this. And I see you as a world expert in quitting sugar. And then you have to know that you don't just quit sugar once. It's what you do to stay quit is the really
Amen.
important thing because that's where you're going to see the biggest results, not only in your body, but in your mindset, in your clarity. Um, yeah, and I know, Trisha, that you take a stand for not depriving ourselves and having delight and deliciousness with food because that's a thing that keeps people in that nasty cycle of,
Yeah.
oh, I went out to so and so's birthday party and I couldn't have a piece of cake and I felt deprived and I didn't feel like I belonged and then I got peer pressure and then I ate. So we need a totally different system in place to support this. And so I'm
Yes.
super stoked. Can you tell us, I know we're almost out of time. Can you tell us just a snippet of when is the challenge? What are we going to get out of it? I'm
Totally.
super excited.
It's 5 days. It starts next week. So you got to get on board now. Right now, I'm giving out my book. My book is called Heal Your Hunger: 7 Simple Steps to End Emotional Eating Now. You get a digital copy as soon as you sign up for this. It's $17. It's an additional $47 to be a VIP, which means you hang out with me after class every day on Zoom. It's really fun. I answer questions. We just
and believe me, you do want to hang out with Trisha more because she is awesome.
Thanks, honey. Yeah, so but for 5 days, I teach you the mechanics, how to quit sugar in a sane and healthy way where you don't feel deprived. I give you 30 recipes, my favorite recipes. If you're a VIP, you get an additional 70 recipes. My favorite stuff, I give you all the products. Like I have combed the aisles of Whole Foods reading labels because they're just as guilty as other places as regular supermarkets. So I've I've come up with great lists of things that you can eat that don't have sugar, because let's face it, sugar is in almost everything: pasta sauce, salad dressings, all kinds of foods that you would think, come on, there's no sugar in that. Sure enough, they put sugar in it because it'll get us hooked and keep us buying. So I show you all the products that I've done the research on. I show you how to read the labels and look for the sneaky sugars in your foods. I do mindset calls every day, first thing in the morning. So I do morning mindset calls so you can deal with your emotional, dependence on sugar. Because a lot of people are like, yeah, I want to quit sugar on the one hand, but on the other hand, I can't live without it. And so I get that, and I address the emotional dependence we have on sugar as well every day in the morning mindset calls. And then in class, we deal with how to quit sugar and all the different ways to do that, and also emotional eating and what that's about, because that's how you stay quit, is you address the emotions, you address the the stress that makes us turn to sugar so often. So yeah, I've got you covered. I do everything, A to Z basically, Monday, and it's Monday through Friday. The VIPs get an extra class on Saturday of next week on the 9th. And it's just a lot of fun. There's prizes, there's tons of support, other women who, they've had some bad choices around food. They're tired. They're just so tired of the roller coaster ride and of battling their weight. The biggest culprit for overweight and weight loss resistance is sugar. It gets people time and time again. That's what causes them to self-sabotage and go down the rabbit hole after much success. So if you're tired of that, that merry-go-round of eating sugar and having it sabotage your health goals, your weight loss goals, definitely join us. It's a lot of fun, and the women are very successful and very grateful because we do it together.
And I'm not distracted, everybody. I'm going to find the link to this Quit Sugar Challenge, because I want to hear me when I say you don't need to have quit sugar to show up to the Quit Sugar Challenge. In fact, you don't have to quit sugar and then come. I'm guessing that if you're anything like me, you can't do it by yourself. And so all you need to do is just show up with an open mind to the tools, the mindset, the support, the community, the knowledge.
Yeah. I give a workbook, a whole workbook that you'll get right at the beginning, and we go through it. Each day has a place for your notes and for the contest that we're doing. But we've got you covered. I've done several of these, and we know how to do it in a really streamlined way where we get right to the point. We get right on it, and you get success.
I love that. And I just want to, Dr. Nora Brown Jocelyn is on, and she says, sugar is such an addictive substance. There you go, people. That is from a medical doctor backing up what Amen. Trisha says. So Trisha, you are such a radiant light, and anyone who is struggling, and you know who you are, if you're, and it doesn't have to be weight. You could be skinny and you could be addicted to sugar. If you know that this is the thing that you need to address next, please, please, please use that link, hop on the Quit Sugar Challenge. Yep. Trisha put it in the chat as well. That's a more direct.
I don't know if that showed up. I put it in that's private. I don't know.
I'll put it here. I'll put it in the,
it's just a easier one.
And I hope that you consider taking that time as a measure of self-care to address the biggest block, you know. And 33 years ago, when I let go of sugar, my life totally, completely changed. And I'll tell you what, it's easier to stay quit and then starting and stopping again. So Trisha, I'm so glad that you're doing this work in the world. Thank you for supporting all of my people coming to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited. Love
Blessings,
you.
blessings. I'll see everybody in the Quit
Thank you,
Sugar
everyone.
Challenge. Thanks so much.